Hi, everybody. My name is Lou Gamble, and I'm with the ACHA, and we're here with Dan Huntley as we would like to congratulate Dan as the recipient of the ACHA 2021 Men's Division II Coach of the Year. Dan, congratulations on a great honor.
Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it. It was a great year for our team, and a lot of successes come from all those that have helped us along the way.
Dan, we know the story of the University of Mary. You guys started out 3 years ago and really hit the ground running. If you can, a little synopsis of the first year where you were ineligible because of the ACHA mandate, but it's been quite a run for the Marauders over the last 3 years.
Yeah, the one thing that's been pretty consistent with what has happened here is our schedule. People believed in us right from the get-go. The people in the West here at the Division II level, Minot State, Jamestown at the Division I level gave us opportunities as a first-year program to come in and schedule games against them. And Florida Gulf Coast, at the Division II level to get a national contender, defending champion. Those teams giving us the opportunity to have a good schedule, what I thought would be a good schedule. And, who would be able to predict the things that happened in that first year. And, we came out and won our first 15 games of the season. We beat Florida Gulf Coast at their place. We came back. We had a nice little stretch. And I think we were about 24-1 maybe that first year, and then we hit Minot State. I think our guys were feeling pretty good that they were a good team at that point, and they just demolished us. And it kind of gave us a chance to sit back and figure out what was going on with our program. The next day we played them again and tied 1-1. And we realized that, okay, you just got to go out and perform, and you got to play together and work hard. So, that's really where we've come from. We've done the same things. We've taken Minot State and every year into overtime and had a couple ties with them. We've gone about even up with Jamestown with their D1 team. And then with the things that have happened with our program at home, we've got a great facility, and that was showcased at the national tournament this year. And I think we're 57-1 against Division II opponents at home now over 3 years. So it's been pretty exciting for us and our community and for our school.
Well, Dan, we've talked in the past about, and every coach I think can probably say the same thing with COVID. It hit you guys maybe a little bit harder than some of the other teams in the country because you had that great run your first year, and then the second year you were right up there, ranked number one pretty much the whole year. And right before the national tournament, you got an automatic berth into the nationals. COVID hit, and it says a lot about the perseverance of your team. But for the seniors that were on the team, that was difficult, and you guys were able to overcome that. But that had to have been very, very difficult for you.
Yeah, exactly what you said was persevere, and that's what those guys did. It was tough for them. We did have a lot of transfers come in that first year that had a couple years of eligibility with us, and so they knew that they weren't going to be able to play the first year and would have to sit out no matter what happened, and would be ready to go and fight for something the second year. And obviously it worked out, and we had some success, and the opportunity to compete for a national championship was there in that second year. And then for those guys, we had an All-American goaltender that didn't get his shot at it. And, it was really tough to have those conversations to get our guys all together. And when all that stuff unfolded a year ago, March, and realized that, we really had no idea what was coming at us. But everybody was making a decision that was going to affect a lot of lives. And in the end, everybody's got their own opinion, but the right decision was made, and we should not have been there. But that doesn't take away from the opportunities that guys didn't get. And you can't be emotional on blaming people. It's one of those things that, that's a life experience and a life challenge that you have to go forward, and how do you address those things. And And if you can come out on a positive aspect of that, your kids are going to have a lot better opportunities to be successful when they have harder decisions in life, when they have kids and lose a job, are looking to stay in a marriage and make good decisions that way and things like that. So facing that adversity along the way is a helpful thing for them, but sometimes it's tough right in the moment.
So then you made it through that and you got into the 2021 season. And again, the boys started out really good. It was a very successful year for you, and still a little trepidation. You didn't know if the tournament was going to take place. The ups and downs, of not knowing until you finally did know. And then you were able to get to the national tournament. It took place, like you said, you were able to host it. Were you nervous going in? Was it just anticipation of it? Talk a little bit about that. All the success you had, and all of a sudden, boom! It's actually time to play.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. You don't know. We didn't know what to expect of how our team was going to perform. We've played a lot of those teams. We I don't know. We had 100 games against the teams that were in the tournament. We played Liberty a ton. We played Florida Gulf, Lindenwood. We played Providence 7 times going into the tournament. Dakota College, Williston, Jamestown. We played Iowa State 6 times going into the tournament. So we knew that we had some confidence, but the challenge of actually having the intensity level and the emotion of playing at home, the going through that tournament for the first time. We had also tried to prepare for that along the way in the 3 years, with playing 4 games multiple times, playing 5 games a year ago on a long weekend, knowing that you have to do that to become a champion and to get through that pool play. So the preparation for those things was there for us, and trying to get the best schedule that we can. And that our schedule flipped over 6, 7, 8 times during the year because teams dropped out and they couldn't travel. And all of a sudden, we didn't have Liberty or Lindenwood or Iowa State on our original schedule. And all of a sudden now we've got, 12 or 13 games against those teams that we played in the championship and semifinals. And here we are with what turned out to be a pretty good schedule. And then we get to the tournament and you get to that first game and the nerves and everything else is going. I think for the guys, I had a long stretch of, the 2 weeks before for me as an administrator, as a host, along with all of our other workers, putting everything together, getting it organized with our local committee. That was more stressful than the games for me, because I wanted to make sure we did it right. And we treated 15 other teams well, and the fans, and provided opportunities for the officials to be safe and secure. And the ACHA came in to see what we had been talking about as a successful place and a venue. And then you get into the games, and honestly, I was pretty calm, and our team gave me the opportunity to do that too. We took on Davenport in that first game and outshot them 54-9. Really kind of overwhelmed them. In the past week, I've watched all of the games over, and it was, I won't say it was a great played game, but it was very much in control, and it was fun to be part of. And our guys really got their feet wet, and that was the kind of the coming out for Kyle Hayden, our goaltender, to get that first shutout, and he had 3 in the tournament. To showcase that, why was he going to be the MVP of the tournament, and a few other guys started to come out. Seth Cushing got 3 game-winning goals in the 3 round-robin games. They're hard to come by because you don't know which goal it's going to be, and it's not like an overtime goal. And you see in the NHL right now, they put those stats up every night. Who's scored an overtime goal, and there's not very many guys. So to get game-winning goals is pretty important too. And then our national player of the year, Zach Garrett, had a great year, and he was showcased all along the way. And I think he had 8 points in the tournament. And he's not even a guy that got recognized as an all-tournament team guy. And he had 8 points in 5 games. So it's you we figured out a way to compete. We were tough. We were big. We're fast, and we scored. And our defensemen and goaltending are pretty good. So it was a good formula.
Oh, it definitely was. And one of the things that impressed me, and you and I have talked about this, is what I look for is teams that have had success when they get behind for the first time. Do they get rattled? Do they curl up like a turtle? And your boys didn't. They just kind of took a step back, and then they were able to recover, and it showed, and then some, with a couple of shutouts in the semifinals and the finals, and that to me is very impressive as well.
Yeah, it's we relied on those guys. You look back and you start to count. I was watching the North Carolina State game, and we had I think 49 opportunities for hits, and we had 43 hits. Guys didn't shy away. We played a physical game. We gave up 10 shots on the power play. We had I don't know, eight or nine penalties in that game. I think they were 0 for 8 on the power play that game, and we blocked 14 shots on the power play. And so now all of a sudden our goaltending becomes much better because he's not getting as many shots. And when our D and our forwards are doing their job and committing, and that's really what I think the tenure of the 3 years really got our guys to buy in and know that, hey, this was our time. We finally got here. It's really time now to focus on what the task is at hand, and that's all we've heard about is let's get there. It's a process, and we played through the process and finally had our opportunity, and it's really hard. It's not the easiest thing to win a national championship game, whether you think you're good or not. It's really tough, and guys have to perform when the puck is dropped, and sometimes teams aren't ready to do that. And it takes a lot of maturity, and I'm proud of our guys for that.
That's a key word that you just brought up, maturity. And, you talk about the kids, and again, we mentioned this earlier, Dan, they went through an up and down process of not being able to play last year, and then kind of on pins and needles. But not just that, one of the things I like about the ACHA is you don't get, for example, the prime rink time. You got to practice at all hours, and you're also there. Your main purpose is going to class, getting a degree. These kids are mature, they're disciplined, and that's what I really, really admire about successful programs. And yours is right near the top.
Yeah, it's we're pretty lucky to be where we are. We have a great facility. We've got great backing from our institution and in our department here in athletics, as far as our game management, our athletic development, our sports information, all the stuff that goes on the website, and recapping articles and games, and producing promotional items for us. And then we do get great ice time. And we're lucky that we don't have to practice at the beginning of the morning or end of the night, and we're off the ice by 5:15, 5:30 every day, and it's a pretty good relationship we've got with our local area, and we're obviously thankful for that, and those are the things that kids start to look at too when they start to look at schools is what are the benefits of going there? How hard is it going to be to compete? What are the opportunities for success? And if you can provide some of those things and the extra stuff that the jackets and the polos and the those kind of things that kids love to show off and walk around on campus with and feel like they're part of something special, and show off that they're part of a team. Those things are very important to kids, and the more things that you can check off the box to say, hey, we've got a great academic environment. We've got a great athletic environment. We've got a great school for development of faith life. We've got a good, affordable price tag on the cost of our education. And we're in a pretty cool city. Bismarck's the capital of North Dakota. It's not the biggest place. There's about 100,000 people here. So it's not a true city atmosphere, but it's not rural community either. And so kids that are looking for a small school in a big city, or want, everybody's got to find where they mesh and what's important to them. And sometimes kids are willing to pay a lot to go to school and not have a great hockey experience or not have a good academic experience, but they want to go to that school. And so they make decisions, and sometimes they make the right one, and sometimes they feel like they might have made the wrong one, and then they just quit because the opportunity wasn't there, and they just didn't do a lot of their homework. So there's a lot of schools out there. We talked about last time we were chatted, there's a lot of hockey out there for kids to find a place to play where they can be successful. And if they want to play, there's a place for them to play. It might cost more. You might have to travel a long ways away from home. You might have to play at a different level and not be at the NCAA D3 or ACHA D1 level. There's all kinds of opportunities out there. So kids have to really, indulge in what gets them excited. And we've found a way to compete with some guys that have bought in. And obviously if you look at our roster, we've done it with a lot of North Dakota kids that have done it and stayed close to home. And that's also a lot of the ACHA. You look at rosters and there's a lot of rosters that are, they're doing it with the local kids because it's a cost savings. And we're lucky to have pretty good hockey here that's allowed us to be successful too.
Well, finally, Dan, you've reached the top of the mountain, national champions. You've gotten a Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year award. Now you're the hunted. You're not the hunter anymore. How difficult of a transition is that going to be? Or are you relishing the challenge? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's opportunities, obviously, that how do you stay at that level? A majority of it is through recruiting and the kids that come in and the atmosphere and the culture that has been developed for us for the 3 years. We've got pretty good consistency. We've got all of our leaders back. Our captains are all back for next year. So that transition into, those new kids coming in, we'll have 5 new guys into our program next year, and we'll expect certain things of them, but they need to find what their role is right away and how they're going to fit into our team. Once those things happen, the culture and the positivity and the work ethic and how we practice, all those kind of things will come. And we'll figure out who we are next year, because we're not going to be last year's team. We're not going to be that first year team that had a really good bond. And, it was a special year for those guys and for me, for my wife as well. And to figure out through the stumblings of that first year, how things are going to go and what does it mean for the future. So now we go and teams want to play us and they want us on the schedule, and that's a great thing. We've got another great schedule. I think we've got 29 or 30 games against teams that were either in the D1 or D2 national tournament last year. Most teams aren't going to play 30 games next year. And so, we've got 44 on the schedule, and we expect that, some of those teams who weren't able to compete, but they a year ago, they were national tournament contenders. And so, if you look back at the year prior, where are those other games? And we've got even more games against teams that, participated the last time they played. We'll be as good as what we produce. Guys will come on, work hard. We hope that we can provide an environment that gives them some time to have fun and relax. But we've got to be competitive. And, if we do that and prepare ourselves, we'll be in the right place come March next year to have a chance to get into that tournament again and be that defending team, which, Florida Gulf Coast did a fabulous job in the round robin and got beat on that final day to Liberty. But when they had 10 goals in their first 2 games, they were doing great things. And so that's what we want to be able to, provide an opportunity and be on the front end of things where, we can dictate and do some things. So, it all comes together by support. Our school administration, again, is fantastic. I'm lucky to have a wife that loves hockey and grew up in a great hockey environment and it backs us and comes to our games and enjoys it and gets fired up when things go well and don't go well. So it's good to have that support in the house And it was a pretty fun year for us.
Well, Dan, congratulations again. Dan Huntley, the ACHA Men's Division II Coach of the Year. Congratulations on a great season. Enjoy your summer and go get them come this fall.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Lou.
You bet.